Welcome back, Crossfire fans, and I've actually got a very happy news for you. So we hit an important milestone after that last map. The Play Crossfire Twitch channel passed over 1,000 followers. So over 5 seasons, over dozens of casters, observers, producers, the work of all of us, as well as the contributions of you out there in chat. Thank you for making Crossfire what it is today. We wouldn't be here without you. And thank you to our sponsor, MyHUD. MyHUD.app, the HUD that we're using in this game. If you thought that the graphics or the stats that we have on screen are pretty spiffy, MyHUD would be your place to go for that. It's very reasonably priced, and it's got the auto observer that we got to see last night, as well as plenty of other awesome features. Go try it out for yourself at myhud.app. And now, about the map number 3. We go to Dust2 and we get our first real knife round of the series. So, I mean, with the fact that Overtake have been a little bit lackluster on the pistols, we'll see how they do on knife round. And I think that could be a very big trend setter for how Dust2 starts to look for us.
Yeah, and we were talking about it towards the end of map number 2, but I think that map number 3 of Dust2 does bring some questions into play. I feel like, and we kind of discussed it slightly in the break, but it feels like Dust2 is a little bit of a combination of both Inferno and Mirage. Mirage requiring a lot of firepower, Inferno being more strategy heavy, but it feels like Dust2 takes the best of both worlds and combines them. And I mean, clearly Club 333 on Inferno had the strategy down pat, but Overtake throughout this whole series, it feels like they've been warm and shooting as they should be. But like I said, it leaves me with some questions as to who's actually going to come out on top of Dust2, because this map is a very firepower and strategy reliant one.
Well, it's July 3rd, and I can tell you in Chicago, the fireworks have already started. I imagine you in Dallas, or you in Texas, have already started hearing fireworks as well. But soon we'll get to see them on the server. I mean, both of these maps have been very back and forth affairs, right? With the pistol rounds going in the favor of clubs, but the Deagles being very solid for Overtake.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, I think that Overtake has the prior results to lead me to believe that they should be able to take this, but at the same time, it feels like Club 333 have been able to put up some formidable results on Dust2 as well. They saw a 13-5 victory over Exnotos, and although that isn't, the same caliber of a team such as Iowa Stormbore or One and Goons, where Overtake were able to stop them, for lack of better words, I still think it is some semblance of the fact that they know how to play this map and are capable when the time comes. But we also have to think about this, Floofies. This is where your tournament run is on the line. Lose here, you are sent home into the 3rd, 4th place matchup. Win this, and you move on into the championship to face off against Regain. And so the pressure might be on to either of these rosters, but we'll have to see if they are able to withstand it. It's map number 3, Dust2, between Overtake and Club 333.
Sure is. And we're going to start things off long, it looks like. 3 players here for Overtake, and already Morrow taking a little bit of a peek towards it, but it's a careful one. It's a jump peek. Jason spots him out, and that's enough for him to go, understandable, have a nice day, as clubs all head up cat. I mean, it's a Dust2 pistol. What are you going to do?
It feels like the setup from Overtake is self-explanatory in terms of vying for this early long control, and after not spotting anything, being ready for some sort of late hit, whether it's through catwalk or through long, but the first of which is going to be the actual target from Club 333. Inch is able to find a crispy one-tap onto Secret Agent's head. Mason converts a kill onto Learcy, but Jason is trying to have his impact felt. Morrow is the one to shut down Intra, and Marquis collects a kill for his own, so in the blink of an eye, it's all onto Umar and Jason. It's the pistol rounds that have felt successful for Club 333, but Overtake trying to put a stop to that here and now.
Yeah, it's not looking likely, though, as clubs have gotten themselves quite a bit of space over towards Cat. Umar going to make his way up towards the site itself as the defuse going to start to be attempted by Jason, but his head ripped off leaves Jason alone in 1 versus 2. There's not enough time left. He doesn't have a kit. Cobra jumping up, going to secure pistol round number 5 for clubs.
flips the switch on the Glock, hits him with the 3 burst, and walks away with a round win. What more could you ask for on the T side of Dust2 if you're Club 333? But I think that question is better raised towards Overtake in terms of what more could they have asked for from Umar in the past 2 maps, and that's going to be a key piece of this map for me, is whether or not Umar is able to find activation and find that impact with the op that's been a little bit lackluster recently, and Cobra already cements the man advantage with a beautiful shot onto Jason.
Yeah, gotta love the Dust2 Scout. It's almost like a hallmark of the map. Nice long map, nice long rifle, plenty of opportunities to look for tags or headshots. Cobra going to stick around for even more spots the player in mid, though this next couple of shots aren't going to connect. It's Intra to actually battle back like a wounded animal stuck in a cage, but these pistols are not going to have enough to finish the job. Cobra going to grind through Learcy to finish the round, and it's going to be a quick 2-0 for clubs.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this first round, or first rifle round, rather, from Overtake is going to look. Umar not going to have the AWP, of course. Learcy opts for some lesser firepower in exchange for, oh, that's awkward. Secret Agent, I think, was trying to jump throw smoke, but jump throw nullified by Cobra. Maybe even a little bit of a Goomba stomp, if you will. But in terms of Learcy having more utility, it feels like it's been the right call so far. A lot of that early utility has been expended, but Club 333 have been given free reign down bottom mid. It's going to be Marky to spearhead this catwalk push, but he hasn't found much information just yet, and with Umar still posted towards long doors, it leaves a little bit of ambiguity into the minds of Overtake, but Marky, trying to remove just that, is able to convert on Marky. Secret Agent going to be the next in line to try and break his way through the chopping block, but has his head separated from his shoulders by Umar instead. It's Intro to follow up. The first rifle round finding success for Overtake.
Yeah, a massive anchor for Intra, making sure that clubs just hit a wall on Cat this time around. And I mean, with the fact that between this and the pistol, Club 333 have hit that Cat side now a couple of rounds. It's very good adaptation from Overtake to take those rifles over there and make sure that there's nothing for them. 2 versus 4. Mason on a whole 12 hit points as he loses Morrow next to him. And it's Intra with a 4K on this rifle round, sending Overtake into a clean and comfortable 1-2.
Yeah, and I talked about how on Mirage, it felt like Club 333 were relying a lot on the individual plays from their own members, but I feel like that same kind of statement could be made in terms of Dust2 for Overtake, as they can't necessarily let Intra do all the heavy lifting. It has to be a unanimous effort from everyone, and Sacrifice currently sits on the donut. Maybe a little bit too nitpicky considering we're on round 4, but not going to have, or surely shouldn't have, too much impact considering that this B hit is underway. A flashbang out, actually a lurk smoke, and Learcy fighting a blind battle. Can't see into the tunnels, and nor can 333 see out of them, but the exchange of weaponry between Marky and his accomplice is a little bit labored. It's going to be a reroute back towards mid. We also see that Cobra is still posted towards the taxi with the scout, and might look to reposition back towards Sui to find some sort of impact, but is actually going to rotate all the way back through T-spawn, and Club 333 are looking to regroup back into this B bomb site.
Yeah, they haven't tested this B bomb site yet, so I think it's a good idea, even though there's 2 players on site, and Learcy is already flattened Secret Agent. Mason, good response, and Morrow going to lock down mid, so that leaves Learcy all on his own. He's been deleted as well, and at this point, Overtake can barely even rotate. Morrow is going to hold this down and make sure that Sacrifice and Umar go nowhere. Sacrifice up first, good trade out of Umar. Maybe actually a retake here. I don't know what happened to these players on the B bomb site, and Marky's on 24 hit points. He does spot the nade flying through door, so as Umar tries to set up window, it's an easy conversion as the clubs secure their 3rd round.
And that 3rd round going to be ever so delightful to the bank accounts of Club 333. Morrow and Secret Agent draw the short end of the stick, but Marky still has somewhat of a cash reserve if things go awry here and now. Rifles in hand for Overtake, mid-utility being dispersed from Mason. And Overtake immediately pushed back from Catwalk. It feels like there hasn't been a lot of resistance to do so, but utility should force Intra into a tough decision. Do you swing or do you go? And going is going to be the optimal option, whereas Umar is going to be the one to collect the kill. It's still a fight towards Catwalk, though, that leads to Marky finding 2, and Intra's forced to pick up the M4 and try to hold the line, and he successfully does so. It's a 3v3, bomb on the back of Morrow, but still the pincers are trying to close around this A-bomb site.
You mentioned it earlier, Jason, on the side of Overtake, but Marky looking like the mass murderer over here, the horror villain on Club 333. It is a 2 versus 3, but Morrow's set up for long as Intra backs away. Easy catch. So 2 on 2. His bomb looking to make its way up long. Flash tossed for the cross, and Molly in the elevator forces Jason out into the open. Cobra all ready and set up to double up. 4-1. His club's starting to look quite scary on Dust2.
Yeah, and I talked about how it felt like the key to success for Overtake was dictating the pace, but it feels like Club 333 are trying to take that into their own favor and trying to dictate how fast Overtake are able to rotate, and whether that's because they're withholding the information on some of these repositions and just letting the utility fly, or if it's because of the gunfights that are going in their favor. It's starting to work, and Cobra maybe pulling off some guerrilla warfare, some unconventional strategies with the P90, but is still going to try and lead the charge back into the A-bomb side. A smoke for the back of the site, not one to hit towards the cross, but it feels like Club 333 are wanting to take the fight instead. It's Cobra with 2 on the P90, finds the hat trick, and is spraying away to try and find sacrifice, but it'll be Marky instead to pick up the pieces. It's a 5th round for Club 333 as they find what feels like a great deal of momentum on their side.
You know, there's a silver in all of us that always loves to see the P90 pulled out and succeeding. So there's a part of me that's very happy to see Cobra just charging up long against the pistols. And I mean, you could temper it and say, hey, he was just fighting pistols, like, you know, calm down. But it's still funny. Oh, we'll see if he gets to do it again. No. He's already out long. Flashes, though, push Overtake back. So they're not going to let him do this again.
Shot rings out. Morrow gonna be on the receiving end of it. 90 was still in hand, but Cobra switches it out for the M4A4. Cobra will be sat down. Club 333 still trying to brute force their way through long. The flashbang actually hits Mason, but Secret Agent is the one to find the kill instead. And the double op setup from Overtake has put them into a little bit more of a pacifist posture, but still Marky back towards Palm Tree should be able to catch Jason off guard, and successfully does. So there's a free opening for Club 333 to pivot back towards B if they so please. But you can see that Intra is trying to recover some of this slack.
I mean, that P90 just has completely unraveled Overtake. They felt like they were coming into this Dust2 with some confidence after Mirage, but the P90 just made them completely reconsider everything they've ever done in this game. Like, I mean, you mentioned that the double op setup is going to give them a little bit of a passive setup, but it's passive, but it's even just terrified. I mean, what do you do when the slasher of Marky is on the other side of the server and he is on a massive heater?
I think that's the kind of pros and cons of running the double op, right? Is the ops have to play so far back, and that essentially invites the T side to take space, but if the op shots don't actually connect, then they're kind of a lost cause. And as you mentioned, Marky being the spearhead for a majority of these plays has been absolutely brute forcing himself into these sites. But just like that, 40 seconds go back on to the clock, and Umar has to try and save his team from losing what should have been their round. Lost the first player towards Big Box, won't be ready for Mason towards Car, and Club 333, a round that they should have no business pulling off, is a round that gives them 6.
All right, a real question. Does Cobra rebuy the P90? You see the double op setup? That means that the money for Overtake is hurting. That gives you so much freedom. But it does look like we are going to get the AK this time around.
You know, the phrase that I always like to say is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I think that would have been a perfect scenario to exemplify that, but Cobra instead, after finding his death, will pick up the AK instead. Marky does have an op in hand, which is a little bit interesting, especially considering we saw Cobra with that very same op back on Inferno. But Marky has the game in the palm of his hands. I mean, look at the score lines for both Marky and Cobra, 11-3 and 10-2 respectively. Meanwhile, for the side of Overtake, you still have two players that are sitting on a breadstick. It's Jason and Sacrifice. Intra's been doing all the heavy lifting, but to no avail. It's just given Club 333 more opportunities to find their way into this map and to possibly come out on top of this series, because if this momentum keeps rolling into the second half, then who knows how dominant this Dust2 is going to look.
I do want to put a little pin in this, in that, yeah, it's looking pretty dire for Overtake, but there are plenty of times where Dust2 can start to look really T-sided, right? You find that opening pick, and then the rotation for the CTs can be so long, and you're just stuck behind opportunities that the T side gets to cut you off completely. This time, though, they're meeting a wall, and it's Intra once again, already picking off a couple, looking for more, but this time his reign will be quenched. 2 versus 4 for Club 333. Morrow looking to get this bomb down, 17 HP. He loses his teammate next to him. Umar looking to finally get involved on this game, but it's Jason to close out the round. And Overtake finally doubling up on those rounds.
Yeah, they find a second, but here's where it becomes concerning. Look at the amount of money that each individual player has, that Bomb Plant adding to that cash injection, and Mason has $9,500, so the AWP is available if either Marky or Cobra want it, and Marky's just going to outright buy it from his own bank account. So heading into round 9, you have to wonder whether or not Club 333 actually make an adjustment or continue to try and pull off what has been working for them in the past, because, like I said, it feels like Club 333 are starting to run away with Dust2, but Overtake forced the parking brake on. Marky's able to find an exit out of long doors and does have the AWP as the optimal weapon to take engagements out long, but the man advantage has already been secured from Overtake.
Yeah, and this isn't something that they've gotten to experience too many times, this Dust2, so really hoping to see some ironing out of this defense. Clubs with a heavy lean toward the A-bomb site. This worries me a little bit. There's plenty of firepower for Overtake here, and they've already shut down the Cat player. Marzot misses, gets punished by Morrow, but these rifles, Intra has been everything for Overtake and more. Everything in a bag of chips, and he's not going to stop now. Flattens Morrow, could trade out of Secret Agent, but there's 2 players here, and Sacrifice will put an end to this. Bomb drops close to that site, leaves Marky all alone, and he's a scary player, but 1 versus 3, maybe a bridge too far, as he starts to play around the cross. Your seat looking close. Down to try and block this off. Oh, I like the peek before it blooms.
Yeah,
there could have been.
I thought maybe if he wrangles that spray a little bit, but bygones be bygones. Overtake find a third. AK-47 recovered for Sacrifice. Umar once again has an opportunity with the AWP, but as we've mentioned, it feels like Umar's been a little bit lackluster, especially considering he's the main opper for this Overtake lineup, so I'll be interested to see if there's some sort of priority around getting that double op setup back and going again. But not going to be here. Not going to be now. Molotov towards Catwalk to put a delay to this Catwalk aggression Club 333 are trying to display. An HE grenade down Catwalk in exchange will force Mason to reroute back towards bottom mid. You can see 2 players waiting outside of tunnels. Mid to B smoke has been deployed. And with Mason being the only player on an AK-47, it feels like Club 333 have to try and set him up for success. Intra flashed through the double doors, able to wrangle the spray to find two, but doesn't find anything else. It's Mason to shut him down, and Jason instead will be the one to receive the rest of the contact towards B, but Secret Agent has something to say about it. A flashbang through the doors, number's going to be punched in. The 55 seconds turned into 40, but a well-timed flashbang is going to be Secret Agent's demise. A fourth round for Overtake. AWP going to be recovered for Umar as well. And maybe even the thought of a 6-6 half going into the second half of Dust2.
Well, if a 6-6 half is what's prophesized, this is going to be the round that Overtake... I mean, technically both are the ones that they have to win, but this is the full buy coming in from clubs to try and take back the driver's seat on this side of Dust2. No op once again for Cobra, so critical piece missing from this T side. That comes back to haunt them. Ooh, big play out long, but this time Intra ready. And making sure that A site is swept up clean for Overtake.
Swing over the top of Catwalk. Molotov to delay any sort of push. The only player going to be home to receive this contact is Intra, but he's been the heavy hitter for this Overtake lineup. The cross smoke's being prepped up from Cobra. And I believe there is not actually another smoke, so they're only going to have one to work with. Maybe a Molotov to try and force Intra into a swing that he doesn't actually want to take. But nonetheless, minute left on the clock. Club 333 starting to feel a little bit suffocated as to their options in this round number 11. Smoke's deployed, flashbang over the top. The second smoke is there, so there is a little bit of room for Intra to work behind. But Jason fast on this flank is trying to throw a wrench into the plans, but not if Intra doesn't need him. Converts 2 kills off of wrangling that M4 spray, but the spam through the box drops him to 20, and somehow he's able to walk away with the hat trick. Meanwhile, Jason is just left to pick up the crumbs. It's a 5th round for Overtake.
Intra has just been a gun turret on this A-bomb site, whether it's long or the site itself. He has made sure that Club 333 have a bad time if they meet him. And, I mean, I guess my big question is, why haven't clubs tried B-bomb site a little bit more? Like, they've gone back and forth with it, but they've got the bomb down on there a couple of times, so you'd think that they've done so much probing toward that A-bomb site, they've made Overtake think that they're going to push it time and time again, and they haven't really used that mental warfare to get anything done on the other side of the map.
I also think that's partially because Club 333 have found success, whether it be towards mid or towards Catwalk, that draws Overtake back towards the A-bomb site to try and bolster the defenses, and then it's been late round pivots as we're seeing now. I mean, we're crossing a minute and 10 seconds left. There hasn't been any advancements to Catwalk, and a block smoke towards Cat as well is going to further dissuade them, but the interesting decision, at least in terms of Overtake, is that they're still continuing to bolster this A-bomb site when Club 333, for the time being, it feels like don't have any interest in actually prodding.
Well, they've got the smoke down for the mid to be. Oh, that Molotov feels a little bit mistimed. Maybe something to try and catch a rotator, but Mason speeding up fast through the double doors, catches Lear's seat. Good trade out of Jason. Got that AK in hand, but with 30 HP, the scout will be more than enough. Good damage onto Cobra, but it's going to be a 2 versus 4 for Overtake. They've already found the one, but it's going to have to be Umar to finish this one out. The AWP deletes Morrow from the server. The AK recovered as well, so 1 versus 2. Both of these club players tucked away. Not too far, though. Cobra only by the tunnel's door. Only an opportunity for Umar. Looks for the first opportunity. There's nobody close at hand. Cobra deleted. And it's just Secret Agent left standing. The captain of Club 333. Umar just going to run him down and flatten his face. Defuse comes through, and Overtake will turn this 1-6 to a 6-6.
Yeah, and this goes into how we were talking about map 3 is going to be a little bit of a coin flip, whether it be for Club 333 or for Overtake. But Overtake I feel like throughout this series has slowly warmed up into whatever map we are on, whether that's Inferno, whether that's Mirage, and whether that's now Dust2. But I feel like going into the T side of Dust2, we need to see more out of the individuals. It's been all Intra, it's been all Umar, and clearly by the stat line, Learcy, Jason, and Sacrifice, which are players that you expect to show up to the server, haven't had much impact.
Well, I feel like we've seen the torch for the carry passed around a bit, so... But yeah, you're right. I'm really wondering when we're going to see some of the crazy flicks that we get to see sometimes from Umar. I mean, he is one of the 2 players on Overtake that has more than 10 kills, so...
I mean,
we'll
but at the same time, you have to wonder. It feels like this Overtake lineup is a lineup that is trying to shoot for the stars, for lack of better words, and if Umar is having this level of inconsistency throughout just a series, and correct me if I'm wrong, it feels like we've seen this on multiple occasions, it has to start to become a question of whether or not he's either being positioned wrong, doesn't have the support to wield the AWP, or whatever the case may be, but the T side of Dust2 definitely a little bit more enabling for that op.
He is definitely feast or famine, and well, now the question is, Overtake, 1 pistol round in the series. This is the last one. Can they win at least 1 pistol round in a best of 3? Umar sends a flash the wrong direction. That rattles Overtake just a bit, and Morrow more than happy to clip Sacrifice's head. I'm going to be planted, though. And Umar waiting, watching to see if he can catch these players on Cat. Smoke. First thing deployed. Dooley's on the other side of it. That's going to be scary. I'm on a P2K. There's got to be some instant headshots as clubs start to emerge from the smoke. A lot of spam to start things off. Clubs really sure of their timing on this one. 15 seconds remaining on the bomb, and Umar has already removed Mason's skull, but Morrow and Markey, the double M's of Club 333, will secure that pistol round. Pistol round number 6 for clubs.
Yeah, and it felt like that smoke towards Catwalk was a little bit, not late, but more so that Umar was indecisive as to whether or not he should actually deploy it, and it put him in a very tight position as to where he needs to either go for the fight or try and play it from a further back position, and with the dual Berettas in the hands for Club 333, it's not going to make that an easy task. Round 14, however, a force buy all the way from Overtake. Intra is just holding W down bottom mid and does have a timing, but whether or not he's able to capitalize becomes the next question. Markey has an M4A1S, but the dink goes out, and Markey is finished off by Jason. So it's interesting because Sacrifice has taken the space that his accomplice once maintained, but for the time being, Mason is on an island. Secret Agent has to offer up support. The flashbang rings through. Mason activates from the B-bomb site, and Secret Agent is just being a thorn in the side, forcing Overtake to maintain their attention back towards this mid-smoke, but while the diversion was happening, Sacrifice will connect the dots onto Secret Agent, and the B-bomb site secured. 40 seconds, now 35 on the bomb timer, but if you're in this position, it feels like both Morrow and Cobra have to go saving and cut their losses here.
Well, you want to talk about change of pace. That's actually the first time I think we've seen a T side that didn't win the pistol round force buy into the second. They got the plant, which did allow them enough money. And with 4 kills or 3 kills, they, I mean, coming into this with the force buy really threw clubs off their kilter. So Morrow, though, set up in a good spot here. Sacrifice finished off as he walks through mid. At the very least, it's going to be an extra little bit of money in the pockets of all of these CTs, but still, round victory for Overtake, and Jason going to make sure that that rifle does not make it into the following round.
And so as a result, Club 333 not going to have the best of finances to be able to pull off a buy. You can see them starting to scrape change from between the couch cushions, but all that's able to afford them is a Scout and MP9, upgraded pistols, and bits and pieces of utility across the board. Cobra, as aforementioned, does have a rifle that he's able to contest with here and now, but Overtake cognizant of this situation, are going to try and press their range advantage out towards long. Flashes for Umar to go peeking, but still no further utility until the cross smoke is deployed. A counter flash from Secret Agent forces Overtake to pump the brakes, but how long this will actually last becomes the next question. I think that smoke might have been missed towards ramp. Ooh.
Well, that 5-7 certainly didn't. That is a magical dinner bell for clubs as they now look to prevent this site take. They might have just done so. Umar quickly traded out by Cobra, and the A site has been declared closed for business. There's a solid minute left, but look at where Mason's gotten himself to. He's on Cat as Overtake trying to sneak their way in through mid. They haven't put a smoke down for CT either, so this is a completely dangerous path for them. And against the pistols, there's still an M4 in the hands of Cobra. Secret Agent P250 just walks in, strafes, cuts off Sacrifice's head, and leaves Learsey now on 22 HP, trying to turn this round around. It won't be allowed as the no-scope from Markey will clean up the round.
Yeah, it's a round that Club 333 have absolutely no business pulling off, but the fact that they were able to isolate fights and even find that pick through the smoke with the 5-7 cemented the fact that they were able to have the man advantage into that mid-fight. And as soon as Overtake didn't have the numbers to actually compete, it felt like Club 333 were in a mindset of just try and overwhelm the rifles, and you didn't even need numbers. It was just the pistols that were doing all the damage, and now Overtake find themselves in a similar situation. Intra opens up round 16 with a kill on the Galil, and Sacrifice has an AK to try and supplement this push, but that Galil has been recycled back into Umar's hands. Only 8 HP to work with, but immediately off of the pressure, they let off the gas pedal. You can see that Jason has a position towards double doors, so he's heard one of the rotations happening back towards B. And we'll also hear the utility flying up towards Catwalk, but the next question becomes, will he expect Markey on this silent rotate? And will Overtake expect Mason to be this far up? And I think he was actually spotted, so the defensive smoke will be deployed. Mason able to chop away at Umar. Now Jason has to find some sort of path to activation here. He's kind of left on an island down bottom mid, and Club 333 have made the adjustments proper. Cobra tucked back into long, and has an opportunity similar to Mason to spoil the plans before they even get started, but Overtake are just following the gap they found. Jason gonna be the real pathfinder for this roster. But now the difficult part becomes clearing out this bomb site and not overextending into a fight that you don't actually want to take. Because Cobra, tucked in towards long, has a smoke and a Molotov, full armor, and the defuse kit to work with. That bomb's going to be planted for Catwalk instead, and Cobra actually finds Jason asleep at the wheel. Markey is close by towards CT to offer a little bit of a distraction, but Learsey tucks the dome and will be able to capitalize on the attention split from Markey. Sacrifice still tucked towards backside, but Cobra is putting in work for his team. Sacrifice trying to play around the smoke, hops on the ledge, but he will be denied everything as Club 333 find 9.
I mean, you can see just how much both of these teams want to make it to finals. It would be a first for both of them. And, I mean, the massive bump in VRS, it would be extremely valuable no matter who picks it up. And I mean, the extra path at Glory as well. You get the chance to maybe deprive Regain of their third championship. So, I mean, you can see just how back and forth this whole game is. This round, though, will be Overtake on pistols. Not a comfortable spot to be. And a bitter pill to swallow.
A reaction from the mid-pressure that Overtake are applying is adjustments from Cobra and the Catwalk player, but Cobra is the only one to walk away with scalps until Sacrifice has something to say about it. Morrow activates from Catwalk. Mason puts the cherry on top, and Club 333 are the first to double digits here on Dust2, our deciding map to see who makes it into the grand finals against Regain.
Well, and they'll have basically one chance to prevent looking for overtime. One opportunity with the rifles, and Umar is on a glass op, so this is an optimistic chance for Overtake. See if they can convert it They have found the place where there's the least amount of defense. Just the singular player is already backed away on long, but the nade cutting off half of Learcy's HP. Meanwhile, Jason falls to the op of Cobra.
Gap found through the smoke. Isolated fight from Morrow does result in a kill onto Intra. The support has arrived, however, and as Morrow doubles up, the refrags come in from Learcy and Umar. But in the blink of an eye, Umar is thrusted into this 1v3, and Club 333 are staring down the barrel of 11. AWP in hand, not the optimal tool for the job. But as Smashmouth once said, you don't have to be the sharpest tool in the shed. Umar peers through this smoke, not going to spot anyone towards car initially, so that gives him the confidence to continue this walk. But from the side of Club 333, they've decided to play a little bit of a containment breach setup. Marky's going to be tucked close car. Given the isolated angle is Umar, but Umar has to connect the shot first, and the jiggles from Marky not going to help. Umar able to collect the first, now has to walk through the AWP of Cobra, but the jiggle peek does not help him. Not whatsoever in Club 333. Only need 2 more to find themselves into the grand finals.
Yeah, and the buy for Overtake is going to be Desperation City. The loss bonus is fully stacked up, so they can pick up rifles if they want to go for it. But I almost wonder if maybe they want to save a little bit left in the tank to go for the AWP to try and stop Club 333 from securing that eventual W. And they do only buy the Galil on Jason and the Scout on Sacrifice, but that's going to send things disjointed for a potential round 20.
The interesting part of this round here comes the setup that Club 333 find themselves in. 3-man setup initially towards mid. Marky able to spam Jason away. Intra going to be the one to try and trailblaze all the way up catwalk, but the footsteps are merely a facade for the rest of his team to maybe buy space into tunnels where the bomb awaits.
Yeah, I mean, Overtake, they've been just stopped at the gate on every side of the map. The cat player, you think you're getting space, but Morrow just ready and waiting here to grind you to pieces. Umar bringing out the Scout now, but this 2 versus 5 feels far from any sort of success. And Learcy deleted as well. It's just an easy cleanup. Morrow put Umar out of his misery, as now Clubs knocking on the door of the grand finals of Crossfire Season 5.
Yeah, and you were exactly right with Overtake wanting to get that AWP into this final round of play, or potential final round of play. But as we have said time and time and again in this series, is Umar hasn't had the best of impact, hasn't had that AWP presence felt throughout the map, and Cobra is able to open up round 20 with a kill to his own name. Morrow is caught off guard in the Molotov, surely to take his life, but they both miss, and Jason is going to be the one to reap the benefits. Another smoke cross, or another smoke for the cross, and Learcy's going to continue this charge. Catwalk smoke to secure the entrance, but Cobra's been spotted on the jump up and is still able to connect the dots. Suddenly, Overtake find themselves in a 2v4, where Club 333 are swinging with confidence. Cobra finds one with the Tech 9, and Umar has the walls closed around him. It's Club 333 to find themselves into the grand finals of Crossfire Season 5 against Regain.
Well, it's Dust2. You're going to be floating or sinking on the back of your Opper. And, that final round, everybody changed up the pace. Cobra into lower tons, the rest of Overtake going flying down long. They tried to go for something pacey or something different. They thought that the challenge meant that there would be less of a defense, but Clubs just said, nope, you're denied.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it becomes a question of where do Overtake find themselves after this matchup, because it felt like, on paper at least, Overtake should be the ones that are in the grand finals, but Club 333, with the addition of Marky, which we had our own hesitations about coming into this matchup, really flourished, I think, under the bright lights, was able to slot in really well, and was what I think is the cherry on top to this Club 333 roster. I mean, we talked about how there's 2 subs for Club 333. Overtake had the full lineup, but it felt like individuals throughout this series for Overtake were a little bit absent, whether that was Learcy, whether that was Umar at certain times, but Overtake are out of Crossfire Season 5, and I think that's something that no one could have expected coming into the Grand Finals.
Yeah, I mean, aside from Regain having the history of the team that's won 2 Crossfires already, the rest of the field, when we got to playoffs, has been a very wide open affair. Yeah. No Chicken Coop, no Zomblers, none of your usual ECL level teams. And so, I mean, at the surface, it looks like an open and shut case for Regain, but at the same time, Club 333 are looking pretty hot to trot. So I think that Regain definitely better be studying the demos, and what better way to study the demos than with scl.gg. SCL, study your 2D demos, run dry runs on every map, get your strategy locked in, and dominate.
Yeah, and then to give another thank you to MyHUD, who is what we've been using throughout this Best of 3 series. MyHUD is the perfect app, or perfect tool, rather, for streamers, content creators, and fans alike. So whether or not you're trying to make content or just enjoy some Counter-Strike through the Connect IP, make sure to check out myhud.app and level up that content or stream if you decide to do so. But Floofies, for the here and now, we now have our 2 teams locked in for the Grand Finals. That's going to be Regain and Club 333, which I believe takes place sometime this weekend, next week. But still, it's an amazing matchup that I have a lot of excitement for.
Yeah, I mean, we get to come back and see if Regain get to continue their streak on Crossfire. We get to see if we have a brand new challenger coming into fight. And I mean, even going into the 3rd and 4th place, like Raised by Pixels are going to be facing down Overtake later on as well. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I think it's W's all the way around. And again, we couldn't have done it without you, without all of you out there at home hitting the follow button, hanging out in chat, and joining us on this adventure. So 5 seasons in, thank you from all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you to everyone watching at home. Thank you to everyone behind the scenes that helps put on this tournament, including SCL, including MyHUD, including all of the great production staff. But Floofies, for the here and now, we are going to say goodbye, but not for the final time in Crossfire Season 5. We have our Grand Finals matchup, but we will see you then.